And we're back to freecodecamp. This time we're going to talk about the heat map, as my result looks a little bit different from the original, because I've used different colors here and there. But it fulfills the user story, that's what it's about. So we're here in the data visualization section, visualize data with a heat map. It's the original, mine looks like this. We have a tooltip, we have all of the month on the left, years on the x-axis, and the legend. Everything works and runs. As far as I can tell, I have fulfilled the entire user story. Let me resize this a little bit. Need the code on the right. I'm not going to type it step by step, as I just make too many typos. I'm going to copy paste it, but I'm going to make the entire code public. So as always, you can access it. I'm going to use CodePen for it. You will find the link to it in the video description below, and then you can go over it step by step, code line by code line. But it builds upon D3 JSON, what we did in the last couple of course sections. We'll start here with the boilerplate, and I've already linked to the given script. I've got the typical meta information, a title for global temperature heat map. And now we'll adjust style, body, and the script. Body is fairly easy. We need an h1 at first, and then a paragraph, which is the description. And then I've simply added 3 elements. First is for our heat map, second for the tooltip, and third for the legend. And this is what we are going to adjust using our script. So once again, I've linked to it right here. That's given in the user story. Alright, at first we'll fetch the data, what was given in the, once again on freecodecamp in the user story. We need the data from it. It's a typical data set. Then I've defined with heat padding, and I've used the heat map container. So it's all SVGs. Then I have created the scales. We need basically the same for X and Y scale, but X is going to be about the year, which is given in the dataset, so it's d.year. And the Y scale is for the month. I just made this a range from 1 to 13, so we have 12 months. And then I've used an interpolate for the colors. So we had to create a color scale based on the data, the specific data in the data set for each cell. And here I've actually created these scales now, so the axis, and I don't know, is it axis or axes? Is this the plural in English? I believe it's axes. But you can set it up like this. We'll finally have to append it to our SVG. We have to do this 2 times for X and for Y axis. It looks the same for each, but you have to use X and then Y. And we've used this as IDs. And then actually comes the heat map. We're going to use specific cells for each data point. So we're addressing this container, the heat map. Once again, it's our data set. We'll make it rectangles. we'll add the class cell to it, or we use this class later on to style it a little bit. Year once again is X scale, month is Y scale. And then we have to set up width, height, fill color. We'll use the variants here, which I've set up with the interpolation for the color scale. And then here's our tooltip, the mouse over. When we hover over these cells, we want to have something happening. We want to have the tooltip to be seen. And we also want to have later on a hover effect, but I use CSS for that. So once again, if this is too quick, I'm going to paste the code in a public project on CodePen, so you can go over this step by step. Here's to set up the style for the tooltip, and we have a mouse out. So the display will be set to none when it's not hovering over the specific cell anymore. Now we need our legend. This is just simple color swatches, and I'll add numerical values to it so that we have that set up somewhat. And if I refresh it, you can see we've got everything that we need. And we can now use CSS to style it a little bit. I just did some adjustments to the body to make it align to center, set the margin. Heat map container, I've given it a margin on top. And then I've styled the cells, I've given it a transition fill so that we have this hover effect, or this effect where the color changes. I've also added a specific hover to it. So this should definitely work. The tooltip for now is at the bottom left. To change that, we'll have to set the position to absolute. And then it's just a little bit of styling. But now you can see it follows our mouse pointer, so the mouse cursor. And then I've adjusted the legend a little bit so that we have such boxes. Let me adjust the specific cells in the legend. And finally, I've adjusted the text inside of the cells. You can adjust it here easily. Let me make it bigger a little bit. I'll try 25. But that's too big. You can make the legend bigger or the text smaller. If you want that, let me choose 20. We can read this. We can read this quite well, and I'll adjust the max size. And that is just minor adjustment. You don't have to do this to get through this or pass the test on freecodecamp. I'll stick to black here. Let me set up the code pen so that I don't forget. I'll just paste it all here in HTML, or Let me cut out the CSS and I'll put it in the CSS box. But it works properly as far as I can tell. Let me check the official name on freecodecamp. I use the same visualize data with a heat map. So I call this project FCC minus visualize data with a heat map. If there are issues with accessing it, let me know in the comments below. And this is how I've solved this heat map exercise on freecodecamp. I hope this video was helpful, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.